throw this coat away now. You're not too muddy, are you?
No.
I love this coat, too. Serves me right. Should have worn that tatty old serge thing. Anyway, we gotta get the name on the ransom note and get it in the mail to the Franks. We don't need it in the phone books because I already know the address.
The acid didn't work.
No, not really. Should have used sulfuric, like I said. Doesn't matter though. No one is gonna find him in this godforsaken spot.
Desolate.
Hmm?
It's desolate here in the marshes.
Very. Anyway, home to change, address the ransom note, dump his clothes, turn the car, get rid of this gorgeous coat, as much as that will pain me, and then make the call to the Franks tomorrow. Everything's right on track.
I tasted his blood.
What?
When you did it, I tasted his blood.
What did it taste like?
Metallic?
Was it warm?
It was hot.
Okay, boyo. Let's get cracking. We got buckets to do.
Hey, Dick. You stand here a minute. Come here. Come stand by me. Look. We really did this.
We did.
There's no going back. We're together now, forever.
Next time, I want to taste the blood.
July 21st, 1924. Leopold and Loeb trial begins today. Chicago demands death.
Never has public opinion been at such a white heat of indignation.
State's attorney Robert Crowe nervously stalked the courtroom floor like a hungry tiger smelling blood.
While defense attorney Clarence Darrow had a leisurely and pacific chat with his infamous clients.
Courtroom temperature climbs to 99 degrees. Sure is hot, says Loeb. All the while, the razor-sharp Crow and hangdog Darrow faced off like opposing armies primed for battle.
At last all is silent, and the trial of the century is suddenly upon us.
The people of the state of Illinois versus Nathan Leopold Jr. and Richard Loeb for the crime of murder before the Honorable Judge John R. Cavalier in the Criminal Court of Cook County at the July term, A.D. 1924.
Your Honor, for the selection of the jury, I have a motion.
Your Honor, I object. You couldn't wait for your opening statement, Clarence?
Oh, I think you'll want to hear this, Bob. Your Honor, my clients would like to change their plea to guilty.
Now hold on a minute, you're changing your pleas?
Guilty on all counts.
This is extraordinary.
Well, this is an extraordinary case.
This is a standard trial for murder, nothing more.
No, Bob. I believe I just turned it into a sentencing hearing.
You are out of your mind.
Maybe so. Oh, now, Bob, don't get mad.
Your Honor, I must protest at the counsel for the defense's melodramatic
Why?
tactics.
It's kosher. We're just changing our pleas.
So what, you suddenly decided they were guilty?
Your Honor, I believe we can release the jury candidates now.
A plea of guilty being so entered, no jury has been called. The Honorable Judge John R. Cavalier presiding and sentencing.
Your Honor, my clients decided to change their plea to guilty. Now, I'm not going to be coy with you. In doing so, we have released the jury from these proceedings. In doing so, we have placed the responsibility for assigning punishment of these boys firmly on your shoulders. It is now entirely up to you as to where their future lies. If they are to stand on the gallows and plunge to a sharp, choking death, it will be your decision, and your decision alone. Now, during the course of this hearing, we will produce a number of expert witnesses who will testify as to the psychological state of my clients before, during, and after their crimes. It is my
Is the
belief
counsel
that
for the defense going to suggest that they were insane at the time of the crime? Because if he is, then Illinois law requires that we call in a jury.
I'm not going to suggest that.
Then I'm not sure as to the purpose of introducing this psychological testimony.
Your Honor, I'm going to present testimony as to my client's mental state that will serve to explain, not justify, but explain their actions. I believe we must look beyond the horror of the crime as we try to remember the difficult, treacherous road that separates childhood from maturity. It is my belief that it is primary to the rendering of punishment that we understand their motivations. To do so, we must begin, of course, with a complete understanding of their psychological health.
It seems to me the counsel for the defense is just begging the question. He doesn't want to call them insane because then we'd have to call a jury, but he wants to make them just insane enough to reduce culpability and get a lighter sentence.
On the continuum of mental health, there are a great many levels between sane and insane.
And in a court of law, there are not. If they knew what they were doing was wrong, then they're sane, pure and simple. We needn't muddy the waters with...
Well, if the state's attorney would resist the temptation to sway this court during my opening statement, perhaps we'll actually get to some damn verdict in the next year or so.
But, to my knowledge, which is considerable...
Yes, it is.
To my knowledge, psychological testimony has never been admitted as a mitigating circumstance when the defendant has pled guilty.
Well, as my old daddy used to say, even Davy Crockett killed his first bear somewhere.
Darrow pleads them guilty. Darrow runs from jury. City outraged.
Wily old Clarence Darrow has done it again. As the people of Chicago were enjoying the thought of finally putting the noose around the lonesome necks of Leopold and Loeb, big bad Clarence Darrow has come in to rain on the party. Now the citizens of Chicago will be denied their right to affix the punishment of death to these heartless supermen. But foxy Mr. Darrow might be outfoxed yet, as Judge Caberly is popularly known as a hanging judge. Oh, what will poor Mr. Darrow do now?
Look at this one.
The cat's meow.
To this reporter's eye, it seems inconceivable in the extreme that this good-looking golden boy could have committed, etc., etc.
Hey, gander at this, golden boy.
Richard Loeb, whose winning smile has captured many an eye during this hearing, watched the proceedings with a studied air of insouciance. Boy, read 'em and weep.
Why do I always look so fishy in the pictures?
Actually, you look more like a bug here.
Thanks.
You know, when we get off of this, I think I'm gonna star in the Flickers. Can't you just see it, babe? Me on the screen, 30 feet high, pitching the woo to Mary Pickford. Or better yet, Theta Barra. Man, oh man. This is great. Here we are at last, on top of it all. While all the rest, while all the insects
All the ants.
gaze up at us in horror and profound wonder.
Blinded by our light.
I mean, did you see those girls lined up outside the court, swooning like we were John Gilbert or something? Oh, I got this today. One of the bailiffs slipped it to me on the sly.
Dear Dick, I have watched you day after day in court, and the time has come to speak of my love for you. You are the swellest guy... Swellest? You are the swellest guy that I have ever seen with your dreamy eyes. Ugh. Why don't I ever get love notes?
Because you're always so buggy.
Oh my god!
What? What?
Dickie needs love. The Enquirer asks, would you go out with Angel Face Richard Lowe?
Oh no.
All female applicants between the ages of 18 and 24 are invited to answer the question below and return it to the Enquirer on or before August 10th. Why would you like a date with Richard Lowe? Please restrict your answers to 50 words or less.
50 words or less. They've got to be kidding.
They could just write, he's the swellest 50 times.
Babe, look at this.
Chicago Tribune. Rumor has it Mrs. Franks has gone mad. One of the many victims of this crime has been Mrs. Flora Franks, mother of young Bobby Franks. Unable to accept her son's death, she insists he is still alive and being hidden. A haunted and beguiled figure, she listlessly roams the halls of her great house asking, when will Bobby return?
Never.
Dr. William McNabb, chemist. Dr. John Wasner, chemist. Dr. Ralph Webster, chemist. Dr. Paul Campbell Edwards, taxidermist. Percy Van Bogart, pharmacy owner. Lawrence Conejo, attorney. Alvin Goldstein, police officer. Over 100 witnesses called by the state. Frank Molina, police officer. William O'Hare, police officer. James Gordon, police officer.
Now, Sergeant Gortland, you were in charge of guarding Nathan Leopold after his arrest, is that right?
Yes.
And in that time, did he speak to you at all about the crime?
Yes.
Can you tell us specifically then some of the things that he said?
Well, I asked him, what do you think your defense will be? And he says to me, I guess I will plead guilty and hopefully get a soft judge who will not hang me, but rather give me life imprisonment.
Did you see that, babe?
Certainly not.
I have a lot of things I want to do, he says, which I feel would be to the benefit of mankind.
Thank you, Sergeant Gortland. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Sergeant Gortland, when did you have this alleged conversation with Nathan Leopold?
In a jail anteroom.
Did you tell anyone else about this conversation?
No.
No?
No. I mean, yes.
Well, which is it, boy?
I told my wife.
When?
Last Sunday. Monday.
Isn't that peculiar?
Well,
Do you know what perjury means, Sonny?
Yes.
What made you change your mind about the importance of this conversation just 3 days ago?
I
Did you
just
make any
thought-
notes about this conversation?
Yes.
Where are those notes?
In my notebook.
Well, that follows. Do you have that notebook with you? Let me see it.
This is it.
Lunch, 85 cents. Taxi fare, $1.35. Take Fuzzy in for shots. Who's Fuzzy?
My dog.
Uh-huh.
He's a dachshund.
Well, good for him. Is this it? Is this the note you made? If not hanged, plead guilty. Is that all?
Yes.
And where does it say anything about pleading guilty before a soft judge? Isn't it a fact that Nathan Leopold never said that at all? Isn't it a fact you only said it here today because you were coached?
Your Honor, I object.
Isn't it nothing but
This
a
is out of the
low-down
question.
lie?
You are harassing
I don't
this
know how
witness.
you can come into a
I
court of
object
law
to
with
this blatant
nonsense
disregard
like
for the
this.
rights of the
Your
witness.
case is stretched out for a
Your
month
Honor,
now, but
I
this-
object. Clarence, can I talk to you for a second?
Yes, Bob?
Look, I just want to say, Go ahead, please.
No, you go.
Well, Clarence, I know you think I'm being hard on these boys. And I am.
Well, that's your job.
Yes, but I know how you feel. Now, I don't really have to justify anything.
Then don't bother.
Why are you so angry?
We pled guilty to the crime, Bob. Calling all these witnesses to rehash the events is beneath contempt. We don't have a jury. I don't know who you're trying to impress.
Clarence. You have selfish motives too.
Oh, go to hell.
I mean, why'd you take this case? A nice big public forum for your ideas.
Yeah, my anarchistic ideas. I read that, Bob.
Oh, so all the reporters go away writing about Mr. Darrow? I tell you, I could use that press.
I didn't take this case for the press.
Oh, right. I mean, what the hell do you need with good press? You're Clarence Darrow, world-famous lawyer. I'm just what's-his-name state's attorney. And all they're going to remember when they go into that voting booth is whether or not I did what they want. And they want to hang those boys.
So you want to hang these boys? To get votes?
No, I'm following the will of this city.
What the hell can you possibly know about the will of the city? What do you see in your office way up there on the 44th floor?
Look, you can afford to posture your way through this hearing. You can afford to be all dramatic and philanthropic. You can afford to take your time.
You have called 102 witnesses to the stand, my friend. That's taking your time.
Oh, and all the while Mr. Darrow just shambles along, making his little points for humanity.
I believe what I say up there.
So do I.
Bullshit.
What the hell gives
And
you
all
the
this
right?
crap about pleading guilty before
I
a
believe
soft
what I
judge.
say up there. Those boys are guilty and they deserve to die. Period. And if we don't hang them, we will be mocking justice. Just like they do every day in this court.
They're boys, Bob. Boys. And they're scared.
Oh, come on. What do you want? Throw away the law? What will we have left? What will we stand for, Clarence? You know about what's happening in Chicago. The gangs, the corruption. It's all just seeping in everywhere because the laws are not being enforced. Do you like that? I want my children to grow up in a city where they can depend on at least that. So, if everything else just falls to shit, at least they'll know that there's justice somewhere.
Justice. Hanging these boys is going to give us justice.
It's a start.
I've never had a client executed, and I'm not going to let you hang these boys.
So there it is. Clarence Darrow's famous reputation. Wouldn't want to fuck up your purse score, huh?
You're a cold bastard.
And you were a blind old man.
I could look at them like you do, Bob.
Oh, sure.
I could damn these boys for what they've done. For the madness, for the brutality. I can see the sin in all the world. And I may as well hate that sin, but never the sinner.
I wonder what Mrs. Franks would say to that.
Dear Mom and Pop, this thing is all too terrible.
Dear Father, thank you for the books.
I've thought about it and thought about it, and even now I just cannot figure out how it all came to be. One thing I'm certain of, though, is that I have nobody to blame but myself.
I have been starved for challenging reading material, and so I tore into your recent shipment with great eagerness.
I'm afraid you two will try and blame yourselves for what has happened. Please. Please don't.
It had been my expectation that what we commonly consider to be the higher order of fowl, such as hawks and falcons, would have markedly larger brain pans and cranial cavities. Interestingly, however, the order Icteridae, the common blackbird, has a proportionally much larger skull than, say, the peregrine falcon.
At best, I know I have a long prison term staring at me, but I'm hopeful that I shall be free again. And I believe that someday I shall be able to do the world some good, and at least try to live a much better life than I have.
Yours sincerely, Nay. Not that it much matters now. For, I suppose, as I will certainly never see a falcon again.
What I really wanted to tell you is that I'm not as hard-hearted as I am appearing. Of course, dearest ones, I'm afraid my heart is not what it should be. Or how could I have done what I did?
Yours sincerely, Nathan.
Your son, Dick. P.S., Mother dear, still no word from you. I don't know if you're planning to come to town for any of the trial. It could possibly do no good, although I should dearly love to see you.
June 7th. Are they sane? Fathers asked. Mrs. Darrow found Leopold and Loeb very polite. July 17th. The Chicago Tribune offers a fabulous opportunity for its readers to witness our most sacred halls of justice. We ask our readers, should we radio broadcast the Leopold and Loeb trial? Ballots can be found on page 3. Please send us your response. Your votes decide. July 29th. State quizzes girl who found Richard Loeb the nicest boy. Really?
It was a Friday night, a few days after the murder. 23rd? Yeah, that's right. So anyways, we went to dinner and then dancing. Dick was always a great dancer. He could really cover the floor real smooth. That Friday night, we were dancing in a big crowd at the Edgewater Beach Club. We started really moving and dipping and spinning and everything, and pretty soon the whole dance floor was ours. And all the other couples were just standing around the edge just watching us. They were mostly older and not too good at dances, you know? I really felt kind of special being there with Dick, who was the nicest boy, really. We must have made quite a sight. When the music stopped, we ended in one of those big swirls leading into the final dip. Real dramatic. Anyways, all the other couples applauded afterwards, and Dick made us take this big bow and...
Miss Reinhardt, were you Richard Loeb's only girlfriend?
Well, no, I guess not. I knew Dick was seeing lots of other girls, but I always felt like I was number one. And I don't see any of them other girls here. Only me. And even if Dick was seeing lots of other girls, I always felt like I was a special girl. And as long as I felt really special, I
Miss
didn't
Reinhardt, please stick to exact testimony. Things that really happened.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
Quite all right. Now, go on about that Friday night following the murder. Did you find Richard Loeb's behavior peculiar?
Well, after we danced, we went for a drive. We drove up north to one of those beaches overlooking the lake. It was really romantic. We started both fooling around,
Did
you
you
know?
have sexual relations with Richard Loeb? Miss Reinhardt, did you have sexual relations with Richard Loeb
No.
that night?
No.
At any point before that?
No.
I see. Go on then about that Friday night.
Well, he was quiet after we left the club. Very quiet, which is unusual for Dick. He's usually chatting on about something. Baseball, money, school, anything. He sure could talk a girl. But that night he was real quiet. He sat in his car and looked out over the lake, which was real pretty on account of the moonlight. He had his arm around me and we just sat there. Got kind of sad after a while. Just sad. When I asked Dick to take me home, he said, "I remember this." He just whispered it. "Don't leave me now. I don't want to be left alone. And I'm so afraid of the dark." That's all.
Nathan, honestly, I just feel sorry for you.
Hey, now listen. I don't want any of that. I don't feel sorry for what I did. I did what I did, and that's all. Besides, with our looks and Darrow's brains, I figure we'll do all right.
Has your opinion of Dick changed since your imprisonment?
Not at all.
Nathan, do you feel any remorse?
I don't see why.
Not even for Mrs. Franks?
The entire Franks family could drop dead, and I wouldn't give a damn. Now, there was no animosity towards the Franks ever. The killing was an experiment. It's just as easy to justify such a killing as to justify an entomologist killing a beetle on a pin. Now beat it. I've got work to do.
Sure.
See you in court.
Right. Has my opinion of Dick changed? I could answer that by saying that I feel myself less than dust beneath his feet. I'm jealous of the food and the water that he takes in because I cannot come as close to him as food and water do. More and more, I begin to understand that there is something hollow inside of him. Something lonely and lost, cold. But to me, he's like a hard, perfect gem. Just hold him up to the light and you turn him in your hand and the different dazzling facets will catch your eye and fascinate you one after the other. How could I ever hope to escape that blinding light? That shining, flashing, glimmering brilliance that shines down on me and makes me beautiful too.
Look, I know I should be sorry I killed that boy and all, but I just don't feel it. That's why I could do it, I suppose. Nothing inside to stop me.
Dick, the folks on the outside, they think you're about the coldest-blooded mortal because of the way you act in court. You laugh, you josh, you appear to be having a fine time.
Well, how do they want me to act?
I don't know. Behave with less bravado. Act natural.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I sit in the courtroom and watch the play. When the crowd laughs, I laugh. When it's time to be serious, I'm that way too. Mostly. I've watched you in the courtroom, Dennis, and you laugh and smile and yawn and look bored, just like all the rest. Why should I be any different?
You just don't seem terribly concerned about the trial.
Why should I be? What can I do? I mean, in some ways, it's great. Here I am, the criminal mastermind. People stare when I enter a room. They whisper. They're afraid. People look where I look. They suspend when I speak. They wait, breathless. Besides, this thing will be the making of me. I'll spend a few years in jail and then I'll come out to a new life.
Well, thanks for the interview, Dick.
Sure thing. And you know, Teddy,
July 25th. Slayer spurns sympathy. Loeb hears self-dissected in court.
July 22nd. Hypnotism may play role in Leopold Loeb defense.
Alienist attest. Leopold has mesmeric powers.
Could he have put his crime partner into a trance for the committing of the gruesome crime?
July 29th. Mother abandons Dickie. Mrs. Albert Loeb, mother of Richard Loeb, will not return to Chicago to stand by the side of her boy on the trial for his life.
and you know, Teddy,
In some ways, he's the greatest enemy that I'll ever have. My friendship with him could well cost me my life.
I am small. My heart is pure.
But that's not so much to pay. Not so much at all.
August 3rd. 24-hour watch on Slayers. Elites of jail think Leopold ain't so much. Richard Loeb has adjusted well to the prison routine, taking active part in the baseball games in the bullpen, while Nathan Leopold shuns society and prison routine.
Splitter! He's gonna throw a split. Watch his hands. The one with the ball, you moron!
You sure you don't want to go play?
No, I'd rather talk to you. I barely get to see you anymore outside the courts. But do you get to play, though? Get rid of some of that ghastly power.
I'm quite proud of my ghastly power.
So how do you think it's going?
I don't know that much about baseball.
No, I mean the trial, you numbskull.
Oh. Inconclusive. The summations will decide it. I'm just happy we don't have a jury.
Me too.
It's pretty savvy of Mr. Darrow, don't you think?
How's your cell?
It's too far from yours.
It's not so bad here. Really. The guys are good eggs and the food's okay. Baseball games are fun.
You're more adaptable than I am.
I guess so. I miss my mom. Not that she deserves it. That stupid old cow. You know, she's not even coming to town to see me, and I still haven't heard one word from her. Can you believe that? Not one word. I guess I'm disowned. Hey, McCab! You're swinging too soon. The ball's not gonna hurt you, you sissy. I wouldn't want to spend my whole life here.
Don't worry, you won't have to in either case. If they don't hang us, they're going to send us to a state's prison. I'm hoping for Statesville. It's got the largest prison library in the state.
You researched this, of course?
Of course. Statesville is the place. Hope at least one of us gets to go there.
What do you mean?
Well, they're not going to keep us together.
What?
Oh, come on, Dick. They're going to split us up eventually. You didn't think they were going to send us to the same prison, did you?
Sure I did.
No, I doubt it.
never thought about that. Isn't that funny? I never thought they might actually split us up. Guess that makes me a dope. If they hang us, will they do that at the same time?
Probably. They have 2 gallows here, side by side.
Well, then I hope they hang us. Splitter! A splitter! Are you blind? I said, watch his goddamn hands.
Mr. Darrow's doing a fine job.
You think too much of him.
Do I?
Yes, you do. He's just another one of the insects after all. Just another old man shouting his morality at the 2 Ubermensch. Right?
I think you're wrong.
Wrong?
He's more than that.
Come on. Don't be a sucker, babe.
That's what I think.
You miss it, don't you?
What?
The outside?
More than I ever thought I would. And the strange part is, I miss the oddest things. Like elevated trains, that tree that sat outside my window and scared me as a kid, and the birds. Mostly the birds. What about you? What do you miss?
Nothing. Come on, Hayes. It was a mile outside the box. Go for the walk.
Seriously, go play if you want to. I'm happy watching.
No. No, I want to stay with you.
August 14th, Chicago Tribune. Leopold and Loeb, nuts or not? Head doctor's 3rd day on stand. Darrow's final witness paints blurred picture of lethal crime twins.
And how would you judge the boys' emotional development?
Arrested emotional development. Intellectually, they are both highly advanced. Babe in particular demonstrates an academic voraciousness that I have rarely seen. Indeed, at times, I wasn't sure who was interviewing whom.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
But despite this intelligence, I would judge their emotional development, the process of their natural maturation, to have been arrested somewhere under the age of 10.
You mean to tell me they're less developed than 10-year-olds?
Yes. They seem to exist in an ego-centered universe that allows only for hedonistic expression designed to satisfy their primal urges
Whoa.
for dominance.
Dr. White, please remember, I'm just an old country bumpkin. Could you give it to me a little more plain?
Well, simply put, I don't think Babe would have committed a crime by himself because he had not the criminalistic tendencies that Dickie did. And I don't think Dickie would have ever functioned to this criminal extent by himself without someone to support and encourage him. The psychiatric cause for the crime is not to be found in either boy alone, but in the interweaving of their peculiarly interdigited personalities.
Thank you, Dr. White. I believe Mr. Crow has some questions for you.
Dr. White, we appreciate the time and effort and expense which is evident that our distinguished counsel for the defense has spent on all these alienists in this careful analysis. We appreciate, Dr. White, your time and effort. But it seems in all this testimony that I've missed a thing or two. Could you answer one small question for me, Dr. White?
Surely.
Are they insane?
I don't think I've thought of the matter.
I beg your pardon.
Well, sane and insane are legal terms, not medical ones.
Dr. White, when I'm in your park, I'll play by your rules. When you were in a court of law, you were obliged, to the best of your ability, to play by ours.
Very well.
Are they insane?
I have not thought of the matter.
Did they know what they were doing was wrong?
Oh, yes.
So then they were responsible for their actions.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well, then who the hell was? Sigmund Freud?
I need to point out to Mr. Crow that since he lives in Vienna, Sigmund Freud is not under suspicion in this particular case.
Dr. White, in all of your examinations, did you ever by chance ask Nathan Leopold who actually struck the blows that killed Bobby Franks?
No, I don't think I did.
Then have you any opinion as to who killed Bobby Franks?
Oh, yes. I believe Dickie did it.
Witness declares Dickie did it. For the first time in these proceedings, a witness has expressed the opinion that Richard Loeb struck the blows that killed little Bobby Franks. His face pale and his shoulders hunched, Richard Loeb hurried out of the courtroom, and suddenly, the self-assured young charmer was nothing more than a furtive killer.
At least look at it. No! At least read the statement.
Despite the misguided opinion of Dr. White, I can state categorically that I was the one driving the car at the time and was not responsible for the blows that killed poor Bobby Franks. I would be only too happy to swear under oath that Nathan Leopold was responsible for the murderous attack. You've got to be kidding me.
Come on, babe.
You know perfectly well that you did it. What's the use in saying it was me? We're both equally guilty.
Just so. Makes no legal difference anyhow. So why do you care? Look. I just think that it would be easier on my mom if she thought you did it. Maybe if she didn't think, I actually killed him.
I've got family too, you know.
And your family has been with you every single step of the way.
I'm sorry, Dick. I will not go through with this.
Why is this such a fucking big deal with you all of a sudden?
Does the truth have no value then?
I don't see why. When did it ever?
I'm incapable of murdering anyone.
Is that so? Nathan Leopold Jr., the mad genius incapable of murder. I mean, come on, babe. I got this postcard the other day from this little floozy that said, "Keep your faith up, Dick. We know you've been led badly astray by that horrible Leopold." How's that sound? Horrible Leopold.
It's nonsense.
Of course it is. I know that, old chum. And you know that. But they don't know that. So we laugh at them, just like always. So what's it gonna be, huh? Do we go our separate ways? Or do we go on together? What do you say, boyo? Us against us? Or us against them?
I will not accept this.
You will not accept this?
No.
This is what they want, you know. You know that, don't you? They want to tear us apart. That's all they've ever wanted to do, but we can't let them, baby. We can't.
I'm sorry, Dick. No. Hey, don't touch me.
You're the only one I've got left. Please, don't leave me.
All right, boys, sit down. I gotta ask you a question, all right?
Of course.
Dick,
Sure.
why did you boys kill Bobby Franks? Babe?
I don't want to talk.
No? I want to know.
I don't see the use of
Babe,
it.
why did you kill Bobby Franks?
It was an intellectual test, a philosophical exercise.
And you, Dick?
Like Babe said, to see if we could do it. Exercising a natural superiority.
A natural superiority. You know, boys, Not a day goes by that I don't kick myself for taking this case. But then I tell myself, no, there's some truth here if I can just find it. If I can just ask the right questions, it'll all come out. All their fear and horror and remorse. And then it'll be real to me. If I just keep slugging away. Then this morning I thought, well, old man, you're shit out of time now. You've got a summation to give. So I ask you one last time. I think you'll talk. By this time, you trust me. But no. The same evasions. The same goddamn lies. Can you really think so little of me?
You talk to us like you think we're nuts. I don't think we're nuts at all. Do you, babe?
Dick, these were not the acts of sane men.
But we're supermen, above the law. You can't judge us by the same
Dick,
standard.
stop it.
No! Ubermensch, remember?
Nietzsche, Superman, would have never been caught. Our error was in the
Babe?
misinterpretation, the philosophical idea behind our
Babe!
actions. No, this is the truth.
Bullshit! Useless bullshit! You can't go on justifying hatred by saying it's philosophy.
We've consistently supported our case with
Babe?
everything. I've been trying to tell you
Babe,
since
stop! Just stop! You can save your highfalutin ideas because I don't care. Now listen. Forget the words and the philosophies and the facts and the figures. Stop thinking for 1 minute. And what do you have left? What's there, babe? What keeps echoing inside you? It's your heart. It's the firm, steady beat of your heart. Listen to it. Listen to it. It can't fail you, can it?
And what if my heart is wrong?
Then it is wrong.
Your Honor, a closing summation in a case such as this leaves a lot of room for showy oratory. I will leave that to our distinguished counsel for the defense. Instead, I shall appeal to your reasoning mind and your firm respect for the laws of our state. It is the position of the state that there is but one punishment proportional to the turpitude of this crime. One punishment that applies to a crime of this sort, and that is death. Now, I suppose I should apologize for using that word, death. I mean, I'd hate to frighten these poor, misunderstood lads. I'd hate to shock their tender ears with such a cruel reference to the penalty of death and the laws of our state. I would never want to upset these sweet babes. Heavens, no! Mr. Darrow, we are not taken in. The counsel for the defense will undoubtedly plead for mercy. What mercy did they show Bobby Franks? After striking 2 blows from behind, they pulled him into the rear of the car, hit him again, and gouged out his life. Mercy. It is an insult to come before the bar of justice begging for mercy. I have no doubt Your Honor will be as merciful to these 2 defendants sitting here as they were to Bobby Franks. Hang these heartless supermen. Hang them, for if we do not hang these 2 most brutal murderers, then we might as well abolish capital punishment, for it will mean nothing in the eyes of the law. And I want to say that those men who have reached the gallows prior to this time have been unjustly treated if these 2 do not follow. I submit, Your Honor, that if we can take the power of American manhood and send them to their deaths in the trenches of France, then we have an equal right to take the lives of these 2 men for violating the laws that they gave their lives to defend. Many a boy 18 years of age lies buried beneath the bloody earth of the Somme. My brother is one of them. How can we face his memory and the memory of all those men and tell them that they did not die in vain if we disregard the morality and the truth that they died for? How can we tell them that the America they loved has come to this? To this? It cannot be. Your Honor, society can endure. Criminals can escape punishment, and the law can endure. All manner of grime and corruption can be heaped on the head of pure justice, and still she will hold her head high in pride. But if a court, such as this court, should say that it believes in the doctrine of Darrow, that you should not hang when the law says you must, then a greater blow has been dealt to our institutions than by 100, yes, 1,000 murderers. And it is a blow, Your Honor, that will leave us crippled, violated, and palpably less than we were before the streets were echoing with the names Leopold and Loeb. Your Honor, they committed the crime. They showed no mercy. They confessed to the crime and showed no remorse. The law tells us our duty. Give us justice.
Your Honor, there has never been a case in Illinois where on a plea of guilty, a boy under the age of 21 has ever been sentenced to death. Yet this court is urged to hang 2 boys, contrary to the precedents, contrary to the acts of every judge who has ever held court in this state. Why? Tell me the public necessity for this. Why should a judge be urged by every argument, moderate and immoderate, to hang 2 boys in the face of every precedent in Illinois, in the face of all the progress of the last 50 years? In the last 6 weeks, I have heard nothing but a cry for blood. I have heard from the office of the state's attorney only ugly hate. I have heard precedents quoted that would be a disgrace to a savage race. I have heard this court implore to hang 2 boys in the face of science, in the face of philosophy, in the face of humanity, in the face of all the better and humane thoughts of the age, all in the name of justice. And what is my friend's idea of justice? Give them the same mercy that they gave Bobby Franks. He says we should strike out blindly, just like them. Drag this court down to their insane level. Is that justice? Is that the law? Is this what a court should do? I say no. The law can be vindicated without killing anyone else. If the state where I live is not more humane, more kind and considerate than the mad acts of these 2 boys, well, I'm sorry that I have lived so long. It might shock the state's counsel that Bobby Franks was put into a culvert and left after he was dead. But, Your Honor, I can think of an equally shocking scene. I can think of taking 2 boys and pinning them in a cell, them counting off the days and hours and minutes until they will be taken out and hanged. I can see them waking in the dim light of the morning, furnished with a suit of clothes by the state, led to the scaffold, their feet tied, black hoods drawn over their heads, stood on a trap door, the hangman pressing the spring so it gives way underneath them. I can see them falling through space and stuck by the rope around their necks. I can see them swinging back and forth in the gray morning's light. Wouldn't that be a glorious day for Chicago? Wouldn't it be a glorious triumph for our state's attorney? Wouldn't it be a glorious triumph for justice in this land? I ask you, we're 2 boys with good intellect and all the prospect that life can hold out for the young. Boys with the whole world before them. And they gave it up for nothing. Nothing. that they were reasoning sane and sound is unthinkable. Why did they kill Bobby Franks? Not for money, not for spite, not for hate. They killed him as they may kill a spider or a fly, for the experience. No, it's even simpler than that. They killed him because they were made that way. Because somewhere, somehow, in the infinite possibilities that go into the making of a boy or a man, something slipped.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
You sure you're okay?
Feeling a little melancholic, I guess.
Sure.
So this is really it.
The summations, you mean?
Yes.
It'll be all right. You'll see.
You think so?
Of course.
You really think we'll make it?
You bet.
You never got the hang of the effortless lie.
Well, I have plenty of time to work on it.
Let's hope. Babe, do you ever
What?
forget it?
Do I ever what?
Do you ever think what might have happened if we hadn't?
If we hadn't killed Bobby Franks?
Yes.
I do.
And?
We would have been comfortable. Unexceptional.
If they hang us, what do you want them to do with you? With your body?
I hadn't really thought about it. Probably bury me next to my mother. Maybe I'd want like a bird feeder or something. Yeah. You know, that would make me happy in the hereafter. That is, if I believed in the hereafter, which of course I don't. What about you?
I want them to burn me. Right down to ashes. And then dump me somewhere dark. Away from everybody. I want some stranger to take me deep into the woods in Minnesota or something. And dump me where no one will ever come across me again.
Dick? Why did we kill Bobby Franks?
I don't know.
I don't know either. We're not Supermen, are we?
No. I guess not.
I have stood for 3 months as one might stand trying to sweep back the tide. I wish to make no false pretenses to this court. The easiest and most popular thing to do would be to hang my clients. I know it. Men and women who do not think will applaud. The cruel and thoughtless will approve. It'll be easy today, but stretching out over this land, more and more fathers and mothers, the kind and the hopeful who are gaining an understanding of not only these two boys, but their own as well. They will join in no acclaim at the death of my clients. They would ask that the shedding of blood be stopped. Your Honor stands now between the future and the past. I know the future is with me and what I stand for here. I am pleading for life and understanding. I am pleading for the infinite mercy that considers all. I am pleading for a time when cruelty and hatred will not control the hearts of men, when we can learn by reason and judgment and understanding that mercy is the highest attribute of man, and it is all that will someday redeem us.
Leopold, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Richard Lowe. Your parents live in Kenwood too, right?
Yeah, on Greenwood.
I live on Ellis.
Small world.
Can you believe this party?
Yeah, pretty boring.
So, what are you studying here?
Law and ornithology.
Ornithology?
Birds.
Oh, I thought that was insects.
Entomology.
Hmm?
The study of insects is called entomology.
Oh. So birds, huh?
Yeah?
What is it you like about birds?
They just seem happy, I suppose.
And predatory.
And predatory. I give lectures on local ornithology. You should come sometime.
Maybe I will.
Nathan.
Nathan, you play bridge?
Oh, extremely well.
Me too.
Especially when I cheat.
Me too.
Well, we should play sometime.
You're on.
Well, how about now?
Well, we need 2 others. How about Max and Dick Rubel?
How about we play poker?
Where?
I've got a card.
Poker? In a car?
I've got a flask in the glove compartment. We could make a night out of it.
I have to be in early.
No, you don't.
You're on, Nathan.
Call me babe.
Babe.
September 10th. Dickie and Babe escape the noose. Judge's verdict: